While watching Regular Show, one might notice the appearance of 8-bit video games, the Maximum Glove.
The Maximum Glove! Maximum power! Maximum cool!
What the heck is that? Haven't you been watching the commercial, you idiot? It's the Maximum Glove.
Bruh.
Payphones, Laserdisc, blocky computers, VHS, cassette tapes, and many more forms of technology that seem to date the show to the 80s or 90s. However, one might also notice the appearance of viral internet videos, DVD, HD DVD, Blu-ray, smartphones, and many other forms of more modern technology that seem to date the show to be set in the time period in which these episodes were released, from 2009 to 2017. It just doesn't make any sense. In other words, it's hard to tell when Regular Show is set. I would say that the most natural thing to do would be to assume that the show is set in the modern time due to the use of modern technology. Tons of people collect computers and phones from the 80s and 90s. However, the problem with this approach is that it's not standard for these older technologies to be used like it is in Regular Show. For example, it seems that everybody in Regular Show still uses the blocky computers from the 80s. Also, if you look up when was Regular Show set, it says the creator of the show, J.G. Quintel, intended for the show to take place in the early 90s. Although I can't really find where they found this information, the rest of the page seems to be reliable, and I don't see any reason for them to make this up, so I'll just assume that J.G. Quintel did in fact say this. All of this originally led me to believe that the show was set in the early 90s. However, I've compiled several reasons for why this cannot be the case. In fact, while watching Regular Show, I noticed several moments that hint at when the show was set, and why it seems to be set at so many different time periods at once.
Did somebody order an accountant?
Season 4, Episode 18 doesn't offer too much information to show when the show was set. However, it is able to debunk the possibility of Regular Show being set in the 80s. The episode follows Mordecai and Rigby as they win a raffle that allows them to meet the sitcom actor RGB2 from the classic revived show That's My Television. As the episode progresses, it is revealed that RGB2 is being held prisoner by his executives, and it is up to Mordecai and Rigby to save him. Also, it's revealed that RGB2 is a naked man in a robot suit, but that's besides the point. What's important is when an agent hunting down RGB2 says, "Ah, sick, it smells like the 80s," after being subject to canned oxygen from the 80s that RGB2 needs to survive. This shows that Regular Show couldn't be set in the 80s. However, it doesn't say anything more specific than that.
White people be like this.
My next line of evidence comes from Season 6, Episode 1, Maxin' and Relaxin'. The plot of this episode doesn't matter, but what does matter is the first 28 seconds or so, in which the song, Whoomp, There It Is, plays. During the scene, Mordecai mentions that he once had this song included in a playlist he made while in the 7th grade.
Fun fact about me, this song was on a mixtape I made in the 7th grade, titled Maxin' and Relaxin'. I was the master at mixtapes.
Wow, you were pretty cool, Mordecai.
Yeah, I was.
I've lost heart to the creepers. MC grind so vicious for me.
This is a crucial detail due to the fact that the song was released on May 7th, 1993. And the average 7th grader is about 13 years old, being generous, but because Mordecai is 23 years old, we can infer that the show must be set in at least May 7th, 2003. However, based off this evidence, the show could be set much later than that because we have no reason to assume that Mordecai added this song to the playlist the day it came out. In fact, he could have added Whoomp There It Is to the playlist 10 years after it was released for all we know. After much more investigation, I realized that one doesn't have to look further than Season 1, Episode 9 to find the best line of evidence yet. In this episode, Mordecai and Rigby get sent back to the past for prank calling the master of prank calls. While stuck in the past, the two realize that they have to climb inside of a living brick phone and travel through a hallway of gateways to times in the past until finding a door called the present. This is a normal TV show. The important thing is that there are several doors in this time travel hallway thing that represent times from the past. One of them goes to 1979, one goes to 1990, one goes to as recent as 2001, and one even goes to 2004. This would mean because 2004 is considered the past, the show has to be set after 2004. and this clearly isn't some sort of oversight like the previous line of evidence could have been. Also, it is important to notice that in this episode, there was an appearance of a naked man hiding inside of an 80s technology object, just like we saw in Season 4, Episode 18. So, if that's a coincidence, I'm not sure, but it is very intriguing. With all this evidence compiled, it is clear that Regular Show needs to be set in at least 2005. However, if I were to guess, I would say that the show is probably just set during the time period in which the episodes were released. Although this does clear some things up about when Regular Show was set, it still doesn't answer why these much older technologies are used in the present time, or why some episodes seem to have elements from the distant future, like, just look at this character. And after scavenging through research, I might have found the answer to this question. This next part has spoilers for Season 8, by the way. The resetting universe theory shows that every time Pops and Anti-Pops fight, and Pops loses, the universe resets and the cycle continues. Many believe this to be the reason why the park house can be destroyed in one episode and then perfectly fine in the next, because the show is spread out across several different universe cycles. This means that there does not have to be any continuity in Regular Show, because any supposed continuity errors can simply be explained by having been set in different universe cycles. One episode, or part of an episode, might be set in a universe cycle in which society never progressed past the 80s technology, while another might be set in a universe cycle that is much more advanced and has futuristic technology. This theory seems to answer several questions about the supposed continuity errors in Regular Show. However, it's also important to note that some people also think that it's just a cartoon and can do anything it wants and is not grounded in reality at all, but clearly that's just ridiculous. Thanks for watching the video, and if you notice in this one I'm a bit less monotone than the last one and more loud, and that's because I'm not recording this at 1 in the morning while my parents are sleeping right down the hallway. Anyway, more videos coming soon on this semi-weekly basis.